If you're running Facebook ads, I'm going to show you a quick system that I use for all my clients to essentially diagnose when you have ROAS breaks, meaning your ROAS starts decreasing. This is going to give you the ability to improve your ROAS and the number two, scale, of course. So it's the same system I've used for, here's just a couple examples. This client spent almost 700,000, closing at almost a 3 return on ad spend. This client over 100 grand as well, just shy of a 3 return on ad spend as well. So let's hop into this, and I'll preface this with, this is not an overly conclusive strategy for your ad account. These are things that I've seen at the highest rate occur in ad accounts whenever I'm doing audits, which I've done hundreds of ad account audits for Facebook ads across various business models. And these are consistently the things that I run into and I have to confront with the business owner. And then once confronted and we see a breakthrough in it, we usually see ROAS pick up. And so a couple things here. This is going to be a tiered system. So you'll notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4. These are intentionally in this order to diagnose. And we're going to walk through these step by step and what they mean and how to actually diagnose them, why they're important. But what this means is if your ROAS is down, you want to start here. And if you check this off, you go here, here, and here. It's intentionally in this order. So this is a linear checklist. Again, this is not going to encompass some custom scenarios. There are tons of ad accounts where things are going to be pretty custom. You'll need to diagnose something else outside of this. But for 80% of the ad accounts out there right now that are having some struggle with ROAS or the ability to scale, diagnose something in here. I'm almost certain it'll get you a level of unlock. So first things first, ask yourself the starting question: is your ROAS even down, right? If it's not, keep on scaling. You're going to reach a point to where your ROAS does decrease, and you're going to have to confront your unit economics and understand what your actual break-even ROAS needs to be for profitability. So just keep scaling for now. You're in a good spot. If it is down, ask yourself, is the CPM rising? Well, what is the CPM? The CPM is simply the cost to place your Facebook ad on their interface, right? Per 1,000 impression cost. So how expensive is it to place your ads in front of 1,000 people? Usually, if this is a yes, right? Let's say you're a yes. The reason why it's expensive can be 2 reasons. One is going to be your vertical. So for example, skincare is very, very competitive on Facebook ads. And so what Facebook does is they gather all the advertisers who are going to be disseminating advertisements around skincare products. And there's a very limited addressable market or consumer base who would be interested in it that you're trying to get in front of. So the more competitive and the more restrictive something is, the higher your CPM is going to be. So number one, it could just be your CPM based on the vertical that you're in. But let's say historically your CPM is steady and then you see a spike. Well, why would that be? In most cases, you have to target cheaper audiences. And so what do I actually mean by this? Because I just said there's actually going to be a set group of people who are interested in skincare, right? Yes and no. So the beauty of Facebook ads is there is a group of people, if you put a skincare ad out, interested, and they're either going to click and go to your website and buy or not, right? They're in the market for a skincare product. But the beauty of Facebook ad, or really any paid social platform, is you can get people problem aware. People who don't know that they have a problem with acne, you can get them aware. So even with me, I always kind of just have like a little bit of a shinier, greasier type of skin. I just think that's genetic, right? This could be a really good opportunity for a company to come in and say, hey, if it looks like you're sweating all the time because you have greasier skin and you think it's genetic, that is false. Here's what our product does to solve for it. So something like, I get just a very basic example of that. This is how you get somebody problem aware. For me to actually pay attention and go, oh, I can actually not look sweaty all the time. Great. This is going to get me in the funnel. And so this is how you introduce new audiences and cheaper audiences. This is how you target them. It really falls down to the level and system of your creative testing. You have to make sure you're attracting new audiences into your Facebook ads funnel that other advertisers are not reaching in your same space. This is how you pull in newer and cheaper audiences. If your CPM is not rising, next level here. If your CPM is not rising, check your click-through rate. So if your click-through rate is down, this is the rate at which people are clicking your ads. The average click-through rate on Facebook ads is a 0.9%. So if you have a 1% plus click-through rate on Meta, you're actually already above industry standards. But I never like to go at industry standards and operate there. I always try to operate 10 to 20% around my baseline for my ad account. So Meaning if you have a average click-through rate of a 1% in your ad account, you should be aiming to fold in new creative in your ad account that is meeting or exceeding a 1.2 to a 1.3 click-through rate. So make sure you benchmark against yourself. It doesn't do you any justice to benchmark against the averages. The fix for this is simply to refresh creatives. So I would actually say that these are almost interchangeable. These are going to be very similar fixes. As far as I diagnosed it, what's the actual fix? It's going to be very specific fixes. So click-through rate is usually a function of a couple things. But if you distill it all the way down, it's usually a function of relevancy for a specific audience. So if I'm speaking like that ad example I gave, and I'm talking about somebody with, it looks like your skin is sweaty all the time and it's a little greasy and you just think it's genetic, that's a belief that I've held for a very long time. Until this ad pops in front of me, I'm probably going to pay attention to it. And if it's compelling enough, it's going to get me to click through and at least understand and see the product or the website for myself. So click-through rate is highly a function of the relevancy on the target audience. So again, that's why these are kind of interchangeable. Well, let's say your click-through rate is steady and it's not down. We're going to go over to the next section. Is your average order value down? So this is really only applicable if you have a multi-SKU store or you have several services that you sell and you're advertising for all of them on your website. And so what I'll often see when I audit ad accounts is business owners will say, my ROAS feels very volatile. Sales does this, right? We do good one week, we do bad one week, but we spend the same amount of money. What's going on? And then I'll audit things and they will have SKUs that are, let's just say $150 plus. And then they'll have SKUs that are under $50. So you can still be getting the same cost per purchase. Let's say you're getting a purchase in at $20. Obviously, if you get a purchase at $20 and your AOV, the value of your conversions, the revenue you're generating is $150, your ROAS is going to look amazing. Until the next week, you're getting a $50 average order value. Then it's going to drop significantly. And that's why you see sales drop. So this is more of a structural issue than anything. But apart from being able to actually fix your structure in the ad account and structure things in a proper way, the easiest fix is this. Make sure you have more bundles and then make sure that you have continuity in your ads that are promoting bundles or whatever, a specific product, and then you're sending to the right landing page. And again, from a structure standpoint, you can go a little bit further. You can have one campaign that's going to host a certain AOV of products and ads and landing pages, and then another campaign or ad set even in the same campaign that's going to promote higher average order value products or services. So you can structurally do this, or you can do some stuff in the back end to create more bundles around what it is that you offer if you're naturally a lower AOV store. If that is not the case, in most cases, it's going to boil down to your landing page. And so this is a very, very, very common thing I see. What I'll see sometimes is everything looks good. All these are actually taken care of. The only thing that is weird in the ad account is the conversion rate. And so what I'll do is I'll pull in add to carts, my add to cart rate. And what I end up seeing more often than not is people are adding to cart at a high rate, but they're not purchasing. So we have to figure out, is that the ad's fault? Well, no, the ad is doing its job by getting somebody to the website to take an action. They're adding to the cart. That's a very bottom of funnel and desirable action for a user to take. So in most cases, you have to fix your landing page. If someone is not converting on your landing page, but you're getting a very high click-through rate, your CPMs are fine, average order value is fine, and it's stable, it's a function of your landing page. They're either not bought into your product, there's not enough credibility, or the offer is not sweet enough for them. And so usually I find this be the case between add to cart and them actually purchasing. I'll find some companies will have like 1,000 add to carts and under like 50 purchases. And so I go, you should be getting an add to cart to purchase rate of 20 to 30%. And so if you're under 100, I go, this is like 6% conversion rate on add to carts. That doesn't make any sense. So more often than not, you have to diagnose your language in the add to cart or your perceived offer in the add to cart. And sometimes it'll be technical issues, meaning that the add to cart to checkout page is very low speed. They don't have Klarna, Afterpay, things of that nature, and that can drag it down. or there's just not that compelling of an offer in the cart. And that's why people have like the free offers, the free shipping that's unlocked when you add things to cart that gets them actually over the hump to actually become a purchase. So this again is kind of the core modeling I do when I audit ad accounts. I look at each of these. Of course, there's deeper dives that I can go into at times for bigger spenders, or if there's a very unique case on why return on ad spend would be dropping. But most times it's going to be your creative. And that's why like creative is the biggest lever nowadays. And you'll notice two of these are diagnosed by creative. The third one is diagnosed by structure and or back end fixing. And then the last change is really diagnosed by fixing your website. And a lot of times the changes inside of your ad account, meaning the performance changes that you're desiring, happen outside of the ad account. So hope this helps you guys. As always, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or need help with anything. Thank you guys.